0:58 hours, a Marine Corps H-1Z Viper attack helicopter was racing south over the Caribbean Sea at a speed of 150 knots. It was heading straight toward a cartel boat completely unaware that in just a few minutes it would be turned into an artificial reef on the ocean floor. The Viper, essentially a flying arsenal with a temper problem, had launched from the USS Wasp 15 minutes earlier. Within 12 more minutes, that high-speed boat would understand that challenging the U.S. military is like trying to run away from trouble while Usain Bolt is chasing you. Inside the Viper, the pilot was fully focused on the target data displayed on his TopOwl helmet. Distance remaining, 18 nautical miles. Closure rate, 195 knots. Time remaining until weapons release, 7 minutes. The boat below had no idea that democracy was approaching from the north at 150 knots, guided by satellites, tracked by aircraft, and about to be delivered by a pilot who hadn't missed a target since flight school. Through the FLIR system, the pilot could clearly see the heat plume from the boat's engines. Two bright white spots on the cool blue background of the Caribbean Sea, racing north as if they still had a chance. The target was being monitored by a P-8A, a Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft flying at 20,000 feet. The P-8 is like Boeing taking the 737-800 ERX, and instead of adding more passenger seats, stuffing it with $400 million worth of sensors and reconnaissance equipment. The Poseidon's AN divided by APY-10 radar had detected the familiar signature of a smuggler boat, 2 engines, speed 45 knots, heading north from Venezuela along a route smugglers call the Caribbean Express, like the criminal version of the I-95 highway. The P-8 even dropped sonar buoys to listen to the engine noise, 2 Mercury 300 horsepower motors running slightly out of sync because apparently the cartel didn't budget for maintenance this quarter.
Target
Inside the Viper,
system
the pilot entered the target coordinates into the TSS
Roger
sighting
that.
system
We have a solid lock
mounted on
on
his
Tango
TopOwl
Sierra
helmet.
Sierra.
The target
locked.
sight system
Switching to
works
hot
like
ordnance. Stand by
Iron
for
Man's
release.
helmet, but made for an attack helicopter. The helmet costs $200,000, weighs 4.6 pounds, and projects all targeting data directly onto the pilot's visor, letting him simply look at something to designate it for destruction. The FLIR pod was directly linked to the helmet, meaning wherever the pilot looked, the infrared camera rotated accordingly with enough resolution to spot a candle from 5 kilometers away. The Viper carried 8 AGM-114R Hellfire missiles mounted on 2 stub wings, 4 on each side. The Romeo variant was chosen because of its multi-purpose warhead and doesn't need to know what it's hitting. Its only job is to delete whatever is in front of it. Each Hellfire weighs 108 pounds, measures 64 inches long, and costs $150,000.
Setting pulse laser code.
That's a Harvard education
Sequence initiated,
being
laser
delivered
active.
to the target at Mach 1.3 for someone who definitely never applied. The pilot had set the laser code to PRF 1113, pulse repetition frequency. This is the laser's own Morse code, ensuring the missile only follows the correct beam and ignores the sun, other lasers, or even a disco ball from Studio 54 if it somehow appeared over the Caribbean. The military had paid the price to learn about Buddy Lacy, so now every laser has its own unique code like a deadly phone number that only one missile knows how to call. The helicopter's weapons are not limited to Hellfire missiles. The chin turret you see here houses an M197, a 3-barrel, 20mm Gatling gun with 650 rounds.
Laser pulsing,
Capable of
synchronized.
swiveling 120 degrees left or right. It can turn a boat into Swiss cheese from a distance of 2
Transmitting target
kilometers.
coordinates now. Confirm
But why
receipt,
use
over.
bullets when you have a missile that does its own math homework on the way to the target?
Sending revised
Through the
coordinates.
Link
We are currently
16
inbound
data
on
link,
target.
the military's version of a group chat, except instead of sending memes, it sends targeting data. The P-8 was providing real-time intelligence. Boat speed, 45 knots. Heading, 350 degrees. Distance to Venezuelan waters, 15 minutes. Distance to Hellfire impact, 12 minutes. The math for the smugglers at that moment looked about as good as putting a screen door on a submarine. At 10:06 hours, the Viper had closed into firing range. and the pilot activated the laser designator integrated into the TSS. Suddenly, the boat that thought it was being stealthy was being illuminated by 20 millijoules of light at a wavelength of 1.064 microns. To the human eye, this laser is completely invisible. But to the Hellfire seeker, it's basically a giant Vegas billboard advertising free buffet. The boat began evasive maneuvers, turning 45 degrees every 30 seconds. The TSS auto tracker kept the laser locked at the center of the target, thanks to predictive algorithms that could anticipate the boat's next move better than the boat itself. Laser energy reflecting off the fiberglass hull created a sparkling pattern 2 meters wide. The boat was now essentially cosplaying as a display for missiles. The TopOwl system made micro adjustments thanks to the ingenious technology. When the pilot moved his head back to make a fraction, electromagnetic coils recorded changes in magnetic field strength. This data was fed to the system was so precise it could detect movements as small as 0.1 degrees. When the pilot looked at its target, the FLIR turret on the aircraft's nose would rotate to match his view in just 200 milliseconds. It worked on the same principle as Hollywood's motion capture suits. Except here, instead of animating CGI characters, it was aiming weapons. The pilot could literally look at a target, press a button to lock it, then look at the next one while the first remained designated. The computer compensated for aircraft movement, vibration, and even the pilot's breathing patterns to keep the lock stable. Then came missile configuration. The pilot selected LOB lock-on before launch, meaning the missile locks onto the laser before it leaves the rail. There is also LOAL lock-on after launch, where the missile launches blind, then searches for the laser. But that's the option you choose when you're feeling adventurous. With a boat doing the cha-cha on open water, LOBL was the obvious choice. The missile would know exactly where to go before leaving the launcher, like having turn-by-turn navigation before a trip, instead of just hoping for the best. Next was selecting the attack profile. Top attack makes the missile climb, then dive down, perfect for tanks with weak roof armor. Direct attack sends it straight at the target. For a fiberglass boat with the structural durability of a pool float, direct attack was the #1 choice. The pilot wanted to hit right at the waterline, maximum flooding, minimum floating. The fuse mode was set to instantaneous impact. The Hellfire Romeo variant has delayed fuse options for bunkers, where you want penetration before detonation, but the fiberglass bow of this boat offered about as much protection as wearing a pin into a paintball match. Instantaneous impact ensured the 20-pound warhead introduced itself immediately. Inside the selected Hellfire, a lot of flame-flavored activity was underway. The missile seeker was cooled to -200 degrees Celsius using compressed argon gas. Deep cooling reduces thermal noise, allowing the seeker to detect even the weakest laser reflections through its screens. The seeker had locked onto the PRF 1113 pattern, ignoring muzzle flashes, wave reflections, and everything else. It could see the laser sparkle in its 30-degree field of view, waiting to launch like an expensive, angry DoorDasher who was always on top. Its internal systems were running pre-launch checks. The ring laser gyroscope spun up to 40,000 revolutions per minute, ready to track every movement during flight. The missile's computer mission was loading its flight control rod as essential physics equations guiding it to the target. It ran a built-in test, scanning 147 parameters in under 1 second. Everything showed green. The missile was healthy and ready. Range check. 5.5 kilometers. Perfect. The Hellfire can reach 8 kilometers, but at 5.5, it achieves maximum energy and altitude. Laser signal, steady as a rock. Even though the boat was doing its best mechanical bull impression, all indicators were green on the weapons page. The pilot stabilized the aircraft at 2,000 feet, reducing vibration for the critical moment. Then the magic sentence echoed through his headset. Viper 2-to-1 weapons
We have a
free.
strong heat signature.
In military
bearing
terms,
090.
cleared hot
Locking
means
on now. Looks like the merchant
go
vessel.
ahead and deliver some American-style diplomacy.
We have a
At
solid heat
10:09
signature
hours,
localized on the
the
merchant
pilot
vessel.
squeezed the release, and the Hellfire left the
Confirming target
launcher,
lock.
the rocket motor produced
We have a
500
solid
pounds of
contact
thrust,
bearing 290.
accelerating the 108-pound missile from 0 to Mach
Confirmed. Switching
1.3
to
in
passive.
2.5 seconds. That's 20 G's enough to turn a watermelon into a smoothie, but the missile's electronics were built to withstand it. The missile's autopilot immediately took over. Its brain was essentially thinking, okay, I see laser energy at bearing 186
Got a visual on the
degrees,
merchant ship.
depression angle 12 degrees, current altitude 2,000 feet,
Copy that. Tracking
speed Mach
initiated.
1.1, distance to target 5,100 meters. It needed to climb to build energy, then dive to create the optimal impact angle. Every 20 milliseconds, 50 times per second, the missile updated its solution using proportional navigation to calculate the perfect intercept point. It's the same math a quarterback uses to throw a ball to a receiver running in stride.
Coordinates
Except
entered.
in this case, the receiver is made of
Confirmation on grid
fiberglass
reference
and is about to have
749er.
the worst day of its life. As the Hellfire accelerated, it encountered transonic buffeting, that insane shaking and breaking through the sound barrier. The autopilot compensated instantly. Thin actuators worked overtime to maintain stability. The rocket motor was burning composite propellant at 12 pounds per second, and each pound generated temperatures of 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit inside the combustion chamber. The missile's outer skin temperature rose to 900 degrees purely from air friction. The missile arced upward in a smooth curve, reaching 2,500 feet,
Target
trading
coordinates
speed for
uploaded.
altitude
System
like a
shows
roller
green.
coaster climbing before a big drop. The small canard fins at the nose made microscopic adjustments, 1 degree here, half a degree
Target
there.
acquired. Coordinates
Each
confirmed.
movement calculated
Engaging
to maintain
approach.
the perfect trajectory. Then it pitched over into a 35-degree
Laser
dive,
code active.
Gravity
Single
joined the
frequency
party,
pulse repeating.
accelerating
Target
it back
acquired.
past Mach 1. Inside the warhead, the smart FMU-139 fuse was armed and monitored. This wasn't a simple impact switch. It was an intelligent device that knows exactly when to detonate based on multiple sensors, set to instantaneous detonation. It would trigger in the microsecond the crush switch detected impact. No delay, no penetration distance, just instant conversion of explosives into chaos. The seeker never lost sight of the laser light. As the missile dove, the laser sparkle grew from a dot into a distinct shape. The guidance system could now resolve the actual outline of the boat. 5 seconds to impact. The proportional navigation algorithm was solving its equations like a student reminding the teacher that homework is due today. 3 seconds, the control fins locked into final approach position. 1 second, the seeker captured its final image. A white fiberglass hull growing very large, very fast. The missile was traveling at 995 miles per hour, carrying 108 pounds of kinetic energy and a lot of bad intentions. The crush switch detected, and the FMU-139 fuse sent the detonation signal at exactly 1,000th of a second. The 20-pound multi-purpose warhead detonated with a force of 28 pounds of TNT. Blast over pressure at the point of impact exceeded 200 psi, enough to turn steel. The fiberglass hull resisted no better than a tissue in a Category 12 hurricane. The TSS system recorded everything
We
in
are
brilliant
silent,
thermal
sir.
imagery. The initial impact produced a white-hot flame so intense it overloaded the infrared sensors for a full second. Then the debris pattern created a perfect 100-meter circle of what used to be a boat. It now identified it as artificial reef material. Then it pitched over into a 35-degree dive. Gravity joined the party, accelerating it back past Mach 1. Viper 2 to 1. Good effect on target. Vessel destroyed. The pilot reported in the calm, professional voice of someone who had just turned a multi-million-dollar smuggler out. The helicopter orbited once to confirm nothing larger. It took only 8.3 seconds, less time than it takes to order a coffee at Starbucks. The Trump administration